And I'm back again. So, all right. So, gonna go over this game. This is a long one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 hands long. All right. Yeah, I had a lot of screw-ups this game. Specifically in the last round with this point situation. So right here, 6,100 point difference. So if I get a 3,900 point hand, so a 3-Han hands outside of Pinfu, and I get Sumo, if there's a Riichi stick on the field, I instantly get it. Which is actually what ended up winning me this game. Because Riichi's right here, and I was able to get this right here. But I should have called earlier.
Each.
So right here, I probably should have called that and dropped the 6. And then if either the 4 or the 6 or the 7 or the 9 came out, I would call that again and then have the chance for Tsumo. I was really, really like focused on the idea of, oh, I need a direct hit, I need a direct hit, which is why I was a little bit worried. Or I was still like thinking of the idea of, oh, what if I like went off of the person in reach or this person? I need enough points. I need enough points. Though instead of doing that, I should have probably just said, okay, how can I win, possibly? And Sumo is usually a pretty good answer. I think it's a lot easier to get, let's say, a Baimon Sumo than it is to get a direct Hanimon Ron. Alright, so let's go to my notes. First one, East 1, 6th turn. And, so I'm still trying to figure out how to get my chat history so I can look at all the questions. I noticed DDR Dan posted up a question that he was thinking about the Formon in the 1144-2335 shape. What do you think? What round was that? I actually had that written down somewhere over here. Or maybe that was the last stream. I have no idea. Let's go look around real quick. Why does this game have so many rounds? Or wait, was the one he was talking about last hand? Or last game? That would make more sense. I don't actually have the Twitch chat that you see on the screen, on my screen, whenever I'm playing Tenhou. So I think that was actually the previous game. In which case it was probably... Which one was that? That wasn't it. Was it East 2, 6 turn? Yes, it was. Okay, here we go. So for this one, he thought that Formon looked good. Let's see. Also, why are there 2 blobs? Whatever. Okay, so... Unless the second blob is like a ghost that's actually standing behind me. The ghost of Kojima is leading the way. So looking at this hand right here, we have 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, 4 block, 5 block, 6 blocks. So we have 6 potential blocks. This one's already completed, so that's nice. This is a double-sided, so we'll probably be keeping that around. And so now we have pair, pair, Penchon, and then a pair with a Kanchan. So pair and a kanchan is a cut above the rest, so we'll probably get rid of that, or keep that around. So then we're stuck with a penchan and two pairs. Because we have three pairs in this hand, not including this one, that is, probably we want to get rid of one of those, because with this we want to most likely avoid Chitoitsu, so what do we throw? It could either be 1 mon or 4 mon. If we throw the 4 mon, what do we gain from that? So we have some benefit in that it's like a floating tile, and so it's a lot easier to get rid of this 1-2 shape. Because now if we get a 3 or the 4, we'll instantly throw that out. Whereas if we throw the 1, then we get a 3 or a 4. It'll still be 5 blocks, so we'll just keep this around. But that doesn't get rid of our edge weight. But is that edge weight really that bad? Looking on the field, I don't think this edge weight is actually that bad. It kind of looks iffy right here. But if we look right here, there's a 4-so pretty early. So unless they locked it in with something, most likely they don't have a 3 in their hand. This person also drops a 1 and a 2. It is possible that they could have something in their hand, but unless they were already Tempai, I don't think, or a really good one Shansen, I don't think they would drop the 1 and the 2 out of that shape. So there's a pretty decent chance that the 3-so is not in either of these person's hands, which might make it actually pretty decent. That being said, if we can fulfill this, then this becomes a neck. Also, one other good thing about the 1 mon over the 4 mon, I guess, is the potential to move to Tanyao. It is kind of iffy because we do have the 1 right here that can come in. We also still have to get rid of this 1 right here. Interesting. So I guess the question is, would we rather be stuck with a 3-4-4 and the rest of this, or like a 1-1, 3-4 or 4-5, and then this with this shape? Probably the second one, actually. This does have some, or keeping the 4 pair around does have some benefit. Mainly if we can actually complete this, and this becomes a bottleneck, then it's a lot easier to get rid of the bottleneck, because we can just switch this to the pair and then have this over. But technically, I think we can also do that with... Well, no, if we have the 1 as the pair, we can't do that. Because this can't become a better shape than this. Interesting. I'm going to throw this into Hitori Mahjong Simulator real quick. I wonder if I can make a view for that. Let's see. I am amazing at OBS. Let's do a window capture. Hitori Mahjong Simulator. And we're going to select this cute little thing right here. It's overlaying my face. Alright, so this right here is Hitori Mahjong Simulator. It is a single-player Mahjong simulator. It does not do Red Dora. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. But it can be good for just kind of like figuring out general shapes of stuff. So let's put this hand in. So what do we got discarded? So we got a West, we got Green Dragon, we got a 9 mon, we got a Chun, and a Haku, or a Chun and a Ton. And the Dora is the tile that we just threw. Alright, this is the indicator. Alright, and then let's build the rest of the hand. So we got 1, We got another one. Got a 4. Drew another 4. One, that. Okay. So now that we have this, we'll go up to the mode, or not the mode, the tools. And there's two options here. One is what would you cut, and one is what would you cut with allowing your hand to change. So generally you want to use the second one because it can account for changes within the same shanten, whereas the first one doesn't. And depending on how far you are away from Tenpai, this calculation can take a little while. There we go. And let me pop that on the screen. Window capture. All right. So what do we got? So this is with a whatever Dora. And Hitori Mahjong Simulator, if you notice right here, this is like the estimated value. It'll suggest which one to take based off that. But in our case in the game, it's a little bit different because we have a Dora. And so that changes stuff. So one thing to look at is winning percentages as well as Tenpai percentages. So right here, One-mon and Four-mon actually have around just about the same. Four-mon is actually a little bit higher. For highest winning percentage, though, it looks like it's actually the one-so and the two-so for Tsumo, or for Tsumo percentages. That's actually pretty interesting. Huh. That's really interesting. But that being said, it's only a little bit higher than both of these two options. So blink, blink. All right, back to here. So how good is this 1-2 shape? Because that will actually tell a lot. If you haven't looked at the stats of Sumo by number of tiles in the wall before, they're actually really interesting. So for instance, in this case, if there was, let's say, still, I don't know, 3 of the 3 Sozu in the wall, what are the chances that we're going to draw it if we go all the way to the end of the wall? Well, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th turn? Or no, 6th turn. So 6th turn with 3 tiles is about a 50.64%. So 1 and 2. But that's all the way to the end of the wall. And if there's 4 more, or if there's 4 tiles, then that's like 61%. So that's actually pretty good. So let's see if my guesstimate of, I don't think that this person or this person has a 3 in their hand. So they don't have a 3 and they don't have a 3. So that's actually good. And then this person could be whatever. In this case, they do actually happen to have one. That's interesting. Alright. Get out of this and go back to the game that we're at now. And hide people's hands. Alright, so East 1, 6 turn. Did I look at this one already? I have not. So what should we do here? So we're missing a head right now. Or we're missing a pair. What are the other pair of eyes that it sees? Why are there 2 blobs? I'm so confused. Okay. So we're missing a pair right here. So ideally we want to get some shape that could make that. Just in case that we draw all of our Mensu before that. So if we can get like a 3, then we can have like 2, 3, 4, 5. So waiting on the 1 and the 4. Same as if we draw the 6, we can be waiting on the 4 and the 6. Or I'm sorry, 4 and the 7. Or if we keep this around and we draw a 6, then we could have a 1, 4, 7 shape, which would be really good. In this case right here, I threw the 6. I'm sorry, I threw the 7, but I was wondering, should I actually have done that? So if we look at what shapes we have, we got a 1, 2, 3, which is pretty solid. We got a 4, 5, so that's like 2 solid shapes. We got a 7, 8, 9, which is also a solid shape, and we also got the 4 and the 5. That being the case, we have like plenty of good double-sided shapes in our hand, so we can't really want more. But we're missing a head, a pair, and we also have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shape. So if we do keep this around, then we can technically draw like a 1 or a 2 or a 4 or a 5 throughout the remains, and then instantly get a pair with a run in this shape. Though I kind of don't like that either, because in the case that we'd get like a 4, we'd have to throw out the 5. But I guess it's not that much of a drawback. So what should I keep here? Oh, and in the case that we do draw a pair with this, then we would need like a good strong floating tile, like the 5, to make another good side double side weight. But I actually think we should probably throw the 5 here. Mainly because we're missing the head, we're missing the pair, and if we do get a 6, or we do get a 3, or we do get another 6 right here, we're golden. Like the hand is already, you know, as good as we want it to be. So I don't think throwing the 5 is that bad, but we do lose the red 5, though we already have one in our hand. So it's not like we desperately need value. Do, do, do. Okay. Take a picture and send this to people as well. Yeah, I'm always trying to make more friends on Twitter. Mainly because if I ever run into like a lot of like what would you do questions, which I do every single day, because you know, situations where you're like I have no idea what to do. If you send a lot of questions to the same person over and over again, they tend to get sick of it and then they just stop replying. But if you know, send like one picture maybe every day or so to 10 people, then that's not as bad. So the more like high up ho friends I can make on Twitter, the better. All right. Next question. East 3, 6 turn. Whoops. What do we do here? So 7 is the Dora. And we can also technically take in a red 5 right there, so that's the value of that floating 6. But we already have 5 blocks, and we're 1 shanten away from an open hand. So do we take that or not? In this case right here, I thought it actually was pretty good to throw the 6, mainly because if we do get a 2 or a 3 first, and we declare reach, the 9-pin Suji is really good. Like it's like A-class Suji trap. Plus our other side is Hatsu, which is also really good. Also, whenever you have there's a rule, a nice general rule of thumb where if you have 3 pairs, you usually want to get rid of 1 because it's most optimal to have 2 pairs. But there's an exception to that. And that exception is if you have a Dora pair in your hand. Or not Dora, I'm sorry, Yakuhai pair. Because if you have a Yakuhai pair, you're going to have to palm that at some point, presumably. And then you're going to have to throw out a tile. Whenever you do that, afterwards, that's when you should be left with your optimal 2 pairs. So, if you do have a Yakuhai pair, a lot of times it's going to be more optimal to keep 3 pairs around. because you're assuming that you're going to be calling that. So yeah, I kind of like 6-bit in there still. Alright, and a couple more turns later, I asked, should I have called the 2 Manzu? So right here, should I have called that? So if I take that right there, that instantly gives me Tenpai, and I'm waiting on the 9-pin and the Hatsu. In the game itself, I didn't call it, but should I have actually called it? Maybe. So this is an interesting line. Kobayashi-go would be a good person to ask this. So usually hands are kind of divided into 2 lines. Ones you want to, really fight with Riichi, or first Riichi at least. And then other ones that you just want to quickly end the game. So I think we should have actually called this. Mainly because this hand can't get that much more powerful. So if we just look at like what it is, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. One of these is dead, so 5, and then 4 more 3s. So that's 9 tiles. So we're 9 tiles away, or 9 tiles available to get into one shunt, or to get into Tenpai. Which is pretty bad, because if you think of it, that's the same amount as 7 pairs. And for 7 pairs, if you don't know, it takes an average of like 14 turns if you're just blindly drawing from like a pile of tiles to actually get from one shanten to Tenpai. Because that's the case, I think we should probably call that, even though we are taking an Atozuke, so we're waiting to get our Yaku after we hit Tenpai. I think that's okay right here. Because even if we do wait around, we have to get kind of lucky to make a play with this. So I should have probably called that. Okay, next up. East 4, 6 turn. And I also have a question for the 7th turn as well. And like always, if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to ask me on the stream, because on this one I'm actually not delayed 5 minutes. Okay, so what should I do right here? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks in our hands. Dora is the Haku, and we don't see any of it. We're currently in last place in East 4, so there's still plenty of time in the game. So the big thing that we want to avoid is a bad Tenpai with no value. So if we're like desperately looking right here and we say Sanshoku, Sanshoku, and we get a 4, Manzu. Yeah, that's not going to work. Because then we'll be left over with the bad shape and also a Riichi no Mi. So what does this 4 pin do? Well, if we keep the 4 pin around, then we throw, let's say, the 6. Or even throw the 7, actually. No, I think we should throw the 6. Yeah, we should throw the 6. So what this can do is it'll give us a chance to also get potential Itsu. Right now, we're kind of like value hunting. We don't want to end up in a Tenpai that is, nothing. But we don't want to like just determine like, oh, this is the path that we're going down, because our shapes are really bad. Like we have like a Kanchan, a Penchan. Oh, this is okay. But if we're trying to get 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku, there's already 2 ones left, or 2 ones out. So that's not that great either. That being said, if we keep this around, we can draw like the 5, potentially get the 9, and we'd have the option as well of switching over and getting a 1 through 9 Itsu. I think we should drop the 6 over the 7, because we can still get like another 6 right here and 8, and potentially we get Ipeko. We need like some value. It doesn't matter what it is. It just can't be Riichi no Mi. So that being said, we should probably throw the 6 right here. Oh, I did. Surprise, surprise. And 7th turn, what do we do? Yeah, alright, so at this point, I think this is actually a kind of well-known question, or similar ones at least. Um, if we're just looking at shapes, then we got 7, 8, 9, so we can just kind of like pull that out. And so we got a 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. But if we get rid of the 1, we don't have any like value in our hand unless we magically draw either this or this Kanchan first. And then we're left over with this for Riichi Penfu. But if instead we throw, let's say, I don't know, we keep this all around and we throw the 7 out, then we can get a 5 and have a Itsu potential and throw out this, and so then we can call 1 or 4 or whatever and then be Tenpai on the 3. Or we can still throw out that, and if we get the 2, we can also do the same, throwing out like, you know, the 4 and the 9, and having a chance for Sanshoku. The Sanshoku one isn't as good because it requires this, this, and this. We still need 3 tiles to make Sanshoku come true, whereas for Itsu we only need 2, the 5 and the 3. And of course, if anyone reaches at any point in time, we'll just fold as best as we can. So yeah, I like the 7 here. Hoi. Next question. South 2-1. I think that says 11th turn, no call. So, should I have called this? It's late in the game. Or in the hand. South 2, a little bit over. 3rd place. 1st place is still kind of up there. So if I take this, I'm instant Tenpai right now with double South for a either 2,000, or actually, no, that goes over already. So for a 2,600 point hand, plus 1 Honba, so 2,900 point hand. Or I could not call it and try to get a potential Riichi, try to get a potential Honitsu, whatever. So it's already like the 10th turn. Someone winning anytime right now, or someone declaring reach anytime right now, is not rare at all. In fact, it's expected. So, what should I call that? The only downside I can see to calling it is the board. So first place is kind of far enough ahead that they have leeway to what to do with their hand. They can keep Dama and just like, you know, ruthlessly just kill everyone in their sleep. This person probably wants to reach if they have a decent hand, unless they have like a Mongon, they'll probably stay, then they'll probably stay closed. Dealer is probably going to reach same conditions as them, but if we look at the board, we don't see that many bamboo tiles. There's a couple right here and like 1 right here. So there's none from the dealer, none over here, and just 1 from the indicator. And this is also right next to the Dora. So if someone is, you know, sneakily keeping their Tenpai, waiting for like a Dama Mongon, dealing in with the 7 Suzu right here is kind of expected. That being said, there's no guarantee that someone is in Tenpai, nor is there any guarantee that they're waiting on the 7. And if we do call, we do have a guaranteed 2,900 points. We should probably call that, I think. If this was a little bit earlier, I would probably say no, but actually, maybe even we should call it even earlier. Because the Honitsu is nice, but we still need a good amount of tiles for that, and we're already on the 10th turn. The further and further you get, the more likely it is that you're not going to, you know, win. because you don't have as many draws left. And that's especially true if you're still one Shanten. The difference between one Shanten and Tenpai is like between heaven and earth, especially since you get direct hits from anyone at that point. I think I should probably call that. Post this question up somewhere. Do do do. Hmm. Crop this out. Ooh, and on the Discord, someone has posted 4 "What would you do?" questions. So if you're ever posting your own "What would you do?" questions, that's like, you might as well answer someone else's. And since you're on the stream, you might as well switch it over to there. Chrome. All right, let's see this first one. What do you do? East 1, West, and we got what looks like to be Tenpai waiting on 369. The 9s have 1 tile left, the 6s have 2 tiles left, and the 3s have 1 tile left. So even though it's a 369, it's like, it's kind of bad. But if we look at on the other side, we could also do a 2, 5, 8 weight, which would have 2 tiles for the 8s, 1 tile for the 2s, and 2 tiles for the 5. Oh, and then also the 9's right here, so it'd be free 10 for that. Ooh. I think I would reach it on the 3. 5 tiles reaching on me is still pretty good, especially this late in the game, where and also the Pinzu look pretty lively in the wall still, because no one's using them right now. Question 2. East 1, there's 2 Honba, and they are in 1 Shanten with these nice shapes right here. This is a pretty solid 3, because you got 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, 4 block, 5 blocks. Even if we draw 4, it doesn't do anything, because we're still going to be stuck with the 7 and we declare Riichi immediately. Keeping the 4 around is nice, because it's still early. And if we can get a 3 or a 5 right here, then we can throw out the 8 and the 9, so that's a pretty solid 3. Let's see. Third question. South 2, they are currently in first place. Dora is the 6. Manzu, they have 2 Dora right here. And they have a chance to pawn. Should they pawn? That's actually kind of interesting. So, it's actually interesting. I think they should pawn. Uh, so right now they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. So they're 1 block over. And they do have a double Ryanman right here. But they're still like 1 bad shape away. They either have this Kanchan right here or this Penchon right here. So, if they do want to get into Tempai, they're going to have to fill those up. And even the double Ryanman still takes on average like 7 turns, which is like surprisingly high. And if you call this, it doesn't increase your Shansen any, or decrease your Shansen any, but now we can open up the hand and call whatever. And furthermore, even if we're left with a Tonki, that's okay because we still had these bad shapes to begin with. But we are in first place right now, and I don't know if we necessarily want to open up ourselves too far, because the nearest person is like, what is that, 8,000 points behind us? Staying Dama might actually be good there then. Hmm. Actually, I was thinking if they do, because of the point situation, they should probably stay closed. But if I think about it, staying closed and reaching isn't actually that much safer. Because if something does happen and they're going to fold anyway. They might run out of safe tiles, but with 1 call, it's not that likely. If they have 2 calls, it's a little bit more likely. Um, hmm. And even if they do stay closed, they're not necessarily guaranteed to get rid of their bad shape. And if they do want to win their hand, they still have to reach, which might put them at more risk. So yeah, I think actually they should take that. Fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 more after that. So they called, and person reaches. What do you do? Uh. Uh. Fold? No. So dealer's in reach, and we currently have 2 safe tiles for them. They drop the 3 after reach, so anything around that is kind of like pretty dangerous. So you probably wouldn't want to drop the 3 and the 5 anyway. I would probably call Chi. Because if you call Chi right there... Wait, actually, can you do that? Yeah, if you call Chi right there, you can drop the 5 pin and wait on the 4 pin. It's not guaranteed that you're going to win that, and you're probably not going to win that. But if you do fold, you probably start off with the 7 and then go to the 8. Because it's kind of unlikely that they're waiting on the 5-8 right now with that 3 drop. And if you do take Tenpai, you get the chance to, luckily, like steal away their win if they do have the 4 pin that comes out. Which it probably won't come out from the other 2 people unless they get Tenpai and they reach as well. But it might come out from the dealer who draws it and can't win off of it. Or you could draw it yourself. Either way, your hand's not going to get much safer whether you don't call it or not, because you're not guaranteed to draw a safe tile, nor are you guaranteed, nor is like the 4 or the 5 guaranteed to be safe, and probably is not going to be safe, unless, you know, magic. So, number 4. And final one. South to, what is this? South to, south. Wait, isn't this the same question as before? It's like almost the same. What is this? Wait, south to... Oh, that's just the second one that comes out. Okay, I would have called the first one, so I'll be calling the second one. Whether it's the second or first, it usually doesn't matter. I mean, if you should call it, most of the time you're going to be calling the first one. There's not as many hands as you would think that is like, oh, I'm only going to be calling the second one. Even though that's a popular thing people like to do. Alright. Hide Chrome again. Alright, and back to reviews. So we got South 2, 11th turn, no call. Yeah, I probably should have called that. And then one more question of should we have kept Tenpai? That question being... there you go. Right here. So, final draw. Tenpai or no Tenpai? What does it give us, and what does it not give us? So if we get Tenpai, we're probably going to be... anywhere from like 1,000 to 15,000 points. Someone else is probably in Tenpai, specifically this guy right here. Should we keep that? Everything that we have is really dangerous. Everything is around the door as well. I do not think I should have pushed this 100%. I think I should have folded this. Like, oh my god. There's like no Sozu out on the field. Everything around the Dora is like completely barren. Yeah, I can only see one Dora as well, so like this is like prime material for someone to just destroy me off of right here. Plus, I'm not actually getting that much. Someone else is probably in Tenpai, so I'm not like losing that much between the difference. And then I also have plenty of safe tiles to work with. Yeah, I think I should fold.
Pon.
Pawn. Surprisingly, no one was in Tenpai. Magic. When did they call that?
Chi. Chi.
So they called right here, drop 6. Drop the 3, kind of whatever. Drop the 1. Drop the 6. Did they fold? Or maybe not, because like technically no 6 is over here. Or 6 right here, so that still looks like progression. That's definitely dangerous.
Pon.
And then they didn't drop anything after that. So why were they pushing? Were they just one Shanten and really wanted one Shanten? Or one Shanten really wanted Tenpai? It looks like it. Huh. And then this guy right here is like, what is this? Like, oh my god. He was missing the entire suit of Sozu, even though he had this in his hand, so it very well could have been an Itsu chance. And so, yeah, I really don't think pushing right there is going to save me in the long run.
Pon.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. South 2-2, Tenpai. I think this is a question of, did I notice the person that won was actually in Tenpai? And I think it was this person that won. Answer, probably not. Their hand looks like it's pretty active, and they could be in Tenpai, but there's no, like, downward trend. Usually for hands, they'll start off with, like, 1s, 9s, honors, or guest wins, move over to Yakuhai tiles, move over to, like, lone 2 through 8s, and then they start the lone middle tiles, and they start cleaning up stuff, and they'll, slim their shapes down, keep some safe tiles, and then keep going down. They get into Tenpai or one Shanten, they get rid of those safe tiles, and then boom. But right here, we just see like the second part. And while it's not rare, I won't say it's not. I mean, it's pretty common, but it's also not as common as just like a regular progression. So yeah, they definitely could be in Tenpai here. Oh, 6-0. Ah, danger, danger.
Long.
Hmm? Oh, that's what I was asking here. Okay. So I was saying, why did they push if because I had a Mongon here? Were they in Tenpai? And the answer is yes, they were in Tenpai. Because why else would they push this hand? So what did they have actually? So they have a 5,200 point hand. So yeah, that's enough to push this reasonably. But it's South too, so Tenhou wise, it's kind of iffy. But I guess it's okay. If it was East, that's 100% okay. But in South round, rather than EV play, it's kind of switches over to don't get last play. But at 4 Dawn or 5th Dawn, the rates are kind of meh. Just get more first and seconds than you get 4th places. Or if you're 4 Dawn, you can get a 1st, a 2nd, and a 4th, and you're positive. So... Alright, let's see. Next question. South 3 on the 13th turn. What do I do here? What do I do here? Crap. Okay, so it's South 3. Last is pretty far behind. Even if I deal into like a direct Mongon, it's not that bad. A direct Hanimon would kind of hurt, but I'm still like 8,000 points above last place. And then, of course, I want to fight the dealer, or not the dealer, the person across from me. They dropped a 6 and a 6, which looks to be folding. There's not many chances where you're going to be dropping a pair like that and still be in Tenpai, unless the second draw was lucky. So, what should I do here? So looking at the number of 6s I can see 1, 2, 3. So technically they could still have a 6, 7 weight, Ricci on the 5. And they also did drop a 8 early. And then they also dropped a 3, so that's like an Ida Yonkin right there. So 4-7 is pretty dangerous. Uh, that being said, what safe tiles do I have for them? I don't have any, I don't think. Let's see. So they reach right here. And that was called earlier. So it's like everyone's second discard? Yeah, it's
1、
everyone's second and their third. I guess my third too. Huh. So I don't got any safe tiles. Or do I? Yeah, I don't think so. Alright, so next, what's the next best thing? All of these are no Suji. This one's no Suji. This one's especially kind of scary. Then I got all the Sozu shapes. Anything around the Dora is pretty scary. Or the Dora itself, waiting on like a 3 and a 6 is still kind of bad. So that leaves 2 and 1. 1 is a little bit better because it's kind of semi-halfway walled off from the 2s, and it's on the edge, so it's a little bit harder to wait on. So I think 1 Sozu right there is pretty good. But I'm like, no, 4! Okay, and then I go over with the 1. And, yeah, see this, is this the last 5 right here? Oh, no, that's not the last 5. Yeah. Now, should I push that? I think so. At that point, it's like direct reward for Tenpai. And if I didn't have this discarded, I would have probably reached right there. Because it's pretty hard to defend against me and the last place as this person, so it gives me a better chance of closing that gap between us before the last round. Even if they deal into them. And if I lose, then that's okay. My shot at second is still really high. So they had just Tenpai with Ricci on the Haku with one Dora. So let's see. At the beginning of this hand, I thought that their discards were like really scary. Were they actually really scary? Yeah, they were pretty scary. Yeah, so they were Tenpai for not as scary as I thought. They were Tenpai on this turn already, which is pretty rare.
1、
So let's see. Why did they throw the 6? What did they grab that they couldn't throw? So they grabbed a 2. And they're like, well, the 6 is a Nakasuji, and they can also switch over to Tenpai, so throw that. Next draw. Oh shit, they got the lucky draw and got into Tenpai! Oh, that's scary! I am so glad I did not deal into them. Holy crap. I thought they were folding with that. It's like, oh, nope. Just, boom, instant Tenpai. Oh, that's scary. And they kept it all the way, still Tenpai, all the way to their last draw. And then they can't drop the 6, because it's nowhere out there. Oh, that's scary. Yeah, hands like that are really nice when it's like you have discards that it makes it look like you folded, but you're actually still in Tenpai, and everyone's like, oh, I don't have to worry about them. And then it's like, run! What would that been? 1 to 8,000. So that's pretty scary. I got lucky right there. Mahjong is all about the luck. It goes both ways. Alright, and then finally this one on the 8th turn. What should I do there? So, in order to win, I need to cover a 6,100 point difference. I can get Ricci, Tsumo, Dora, and Hatsu, and that's enough. So if I get Ricci Tsumo, that's great. So, should I throw out the 2 4-pin, or should I keep those around for the 5 8? So we should also probably look at open hands right here. So if I want to open up this hand, I need one more Dora. I can get that from a red 5, or actually no, I need more than one Dora, because if I open up this hand, I don't get Sumo anymore. So going for a closed hand right here is probably better. If I go for a closed hand, rather than a bad weight, I probably want a good weight because I need Sumo. If the person in question deals in directly, that's enough, or if another person deals in, I can technically Ron them. But I need Ura to actually get enough points for my hands. So if I keep this 5-6 shape around and I complete the 2-4, or I'm sorry, the 2-5, then even if I complete that first, I'll have a Nobetan shape. Or if I complete this one first, then I'll have this double side shape over there. Or I could throw out the 8, keep this around, and now if I draw the 3, I can technically Riichi on that with Riichi 1 Dora, but same thing with that. If I do get Sumo, I'll still need an Ura, and I also need Sumo at that point. Or a direct hit. That being said, because I need the points, I should probably break up this one in order to keep this around and leave my pair still kind of uncertain, with the potential to get it from the 5-8. Because, like, if I did end up getting a 3 right here, I would probably take it and reach, because Reach Sumo Urador chance is still better than nothing. Or a direct hit with Ura is also pretty good, because the pawn doesn't have that much information. And they might be pushed to push me, because if I win with Sumo, they might lose, and so the thought process is like, well, I'm going to lose either way if I don't push, so... Except you should not have that thought process if your difference is pretty big. Like, even if I do Riichi, I still have to Sumo. And even if I do Sumo, I have to get Ura. So they shouldn't push. If they push, that just helps me out a lot. So I think 2 pins okay there. If I get a red 5, then I can switch it over again. Now at this point, I'm like, board's getting pretty heated. Or at least people are getting closer to Tenpai. Rather than keeping this around for the 5-pin chance, take what I will. Keep this safe tile-ish right now. Okay. And that's all the questions for that game. So, thanks for watching.